You said something earlier about government, living in impunity, being selective about, what law to abide by, what law to not abide by, and you talked about the appointment of the IG and a number of other issues like that. So, in terms of, this impunity that you reference now, and the suggestion of the announcement of government, which many people like you are saying it's either in error or it's something done deliberately to undermine another arm of government, in this case, the legislature. So, in terms of doing things in the breach of the law, is there anything that can be done or should have been done to forestall that kind of situation? The one that you mentioned in particular, where you referenced Governor Makinde's opinion about, the police, deployment of police and all of that. What can they do? What can the governors do when it is at the prerogative of the president that the meeting of police, the Security Council of the police can be called?
It's for our governors, and again, this goes for all arms of government. The need for us to run this country on democratic platform anchored on the rule of law, and which means before a government takes a decision, you must try and find out what are the relevant provisions of the law guiding the action we're about to take. And if you do that, and I think this government since 2015 ought to have put a machinery in place to ensure that the proper things are done so as to avoid this routine embarrassment with respect to appointments of people into public positions. And it goes for our governors as well. Everybody must appreciate, must familiarize himself or herself with the powers vested in you under the law. And if we can do this, we can avoid a lot of problems confronting the country. Again, you take somebody giving a quit notice. And I have regularly insisted that nobody can give a quit notice to another citizen. If you are dissatisfied with his action, even as a government, you must go to court. I mean, when beggars and destitutes were even deported from Lagos to some state, I came out, no, you cannot. You are compelled by the law to make provision for them. In this particular instance, government's hands are tied. You cannot arrest Mr. Sunday Igboho for giving a quit notice, because in the past, when somebody woke up one day and said, all Igbo people in the north must quit, I came out to say, no, you can't do it. It's not within your power to ask anybody to leave the country. Again, because that gentleman was not arrested at that material time, it's going to be difficult and inequitable to go for Sunday Igboho. So the governor of Oyo State will have to handle this matter within the ambit of the law and based on our experience in this country, so that we do not unnecessarily, divert attention from the criminality that is going on in many parts of the country.
Are you by any chance, Mr. Falana, are you by any chance alluding some political influences or considerations in these judgments that we make?
No, the president has just said, oh, we're not going to politicize security. But security is politicized in the country. It's politicized. We do not have the same standards. And that is why we run to problems. When governors recently, in some states in the north, forcefully remove Amajeris, the people who call Amajeris, and deported them to their so-called states of origin, nobody protested on their behalf because they belong to the float sam and the jet sam of the society. Now, if the government, the federal government, did not protest on behalf of beggars, if you do not protect the interests of Amajeris, you will be in a fix if you have to protect the interests of herders in any other part of the country. And so this is why we have to maintain the same standards at all times and operate under the rule of law.